Hey there, it's Andrea Olson with Go Diaper Free. Today we're going to talk about separation anxiety. What happens when your baby will no longer sit on the potty or let you hold her over the toilet. This is podcast episode 112, and we're going to record it now. Welcome to the Go Diaper Free podcast, where we help you stop changing endless diapers and start pottying your baby. I'm your host, Andrea Olson, author and mom of 5 babies, all EC'd from birth, all out of diapers by walking. This is episode 112. Separation anxiety. My baby will no longer sit on the potty or let me hold her over the toilet. So you can read the written version of today's show over at godiaperfree.com/112, where I will also conveniently link to all the things I mentioned on today's episode, and I will be replying to comments over there as well. So come on by when you're finished. Separation anxiety. In little babies, the struggle is real, you guys. How does it affect elimination communication? And what do we do about it when babies have separation anxiety related to potty time? So today I'm going to answer that specific question from one of our community members. Here is his question. Jeremy in Thailand writes, "We used to have a guaranteed catch whenever Unya woke up in the morning or after a long nap, but now she's almost 9 months old and separation anxiety is in full swing. For the past few weeks, she often gets upset if we try to put her down on the potty, and then she pees on the floor as soon as one of us picks her up. We've tried holding her over the sink so that she's not separated, but that doesn't seem to work much better. Any ideas on how to get the morning pee in the potty or the sink instead of on the floor or on mommy and daddy?" Awesome, Jeremy. Thank you for asking this question. I can, unfortunately, totally relate to this phenomenon, and maybe some of our listeners can as well. Luckily, there are some things you can do to get through this without negatively affecting your EC practice. So here we go. Here are a few. First, continue in arms where it does work. I say this tentatively because I want to stress that this is not a permanent fix, but the first thing that you'll want to try is to continue using the in-arms hold in locations where it still works. For us, with my first baby, we pottied our son outside. Thankfully, it was summertime, in arms for several weeks during his major separation anxiety period. I've also worked with several parents who've done the same as a temporary fix, and it has worked wonders. There are many reasons why this probably works as a temporary fix. First off, a baby in an indigenous tribe would already be potty independent at 9 months old. That is, he would be crawling off to the old pottying pit outdoors and doing his business solo. No pants in the way, just a loincloth if that. And secondly, the outdoors are the prime distraction for babies. You all know what I mean by this. Mother Nature is always a great auntie to turn to when your baby is fussy and there seems like no consolation is possible. The warm sun, the soft breeze, the animals and plants, they definitely cause relaxation, and my midwives with my first baby always said, if he's fussy and you can't figure out what to do, take him outside. However, remembering that this is temporary, realize this pottying choice will have to shift. I think that when the time comes, you'll know. For example, you'll say to your wife, Jeremy, if I have to pee him outside one more time, I think I'll go nuts. So that's when to stop doing this temporary fix. Then transition with confidence. And I do have some information on how to transition to the potty, and I'm actually going to link to that in the show notes, but I have how to transition from in-arms to the mini potty. Do that after you find this is a done temporary fix. The next piece of advice is to hug or hold her onto it, and this is beginning discipline. Many a parent have found that with this newfound ability to resist things in her life, the opportunity for disciplining a child has begun. What, Andrea? Did you say discipline a 9-month-old? Yes, I know it may sound strange, but in cultures all over the world, including our own Western ones, many families begin disciplining their babies at an early age, and it pays off. So with regards to pottying, you can reassure your baby, I'm right here, and hold her on the potty with a hug if she's cuddly, or a hand, which I'm about to read you an example of. She may not like it at first, but just having your presence there and having you hugging her and like comforting her, like this is okay to be here, not forcing and pushing and, strapping on, it's different. It's kind of hard to explain on audio, but many babies will eventually relax, which is the goal here, and will release their pee, knowing that you've got them literally in your arms. So here's an example of what you might do from an anonymous parent from our forums. So my 6-month-old has decided he doesn't really need to sit when he goes potty. He doesn't want to pee standing up or anything. He has just become really clingy all of a sudden and wants to hold on to me rather than sit to pee. So I ask him to please sit, telling him the potty is for sitting and placing my hand against his pelvis to encourage him. After a minute of not really unhappy resistance on his part, he'll usually sit and pee. And if he does have to pee, he'll just sit in time. He'll sit just in time, almost every time so far, and seem relieved and not stressed anymore. If he continues to resist, I take him off, though, and I figure that I misread his signals. Occasionally, he will pee after he's off the potty, but not often. He holds on to me for dear life as if I'm going to leave him, but I've never left him on the potty. I've never left the room. I always hold him, at least his hand, and he only does this with pottying. I think I need a potty cozy for the living room potty. I had one on the bedroom one because we use that for early morning times when he's all warm and sleepy, but I haven't put one on any of the other potties because they never bothered him till now, since it's been warm. But when I picked him up from it just now, his bottom felt colder than his back. The house is definitely cooler than it was a few days ago. I thought it might help folks to kind of see my thought process in this problem, to see how I try to figure out what's going on. Once I get the cozy mite, I'll let you all know whether I'm right in my diagnosis. So basically what this mom is saying is, she will occasionally, so he holds on to her for dear life. So I guess what I'm suggesting is if you can emulate that. So your baby's there, just wants to be held all the time, going through a really clingy phase. And on the potty, she even holds his hand, holds him like in a hug, and not really holding him on there, but holding him while on there, I think is a better way of saying it. And please note, if your baby simply doesn't have to go and you've misguessed, then don't force her to stay on the potty by any means, just like this mom has demonstrated. I'm suggesting a gentle physical encouragement to demonstrate your expectations and an actual hug where a child might be in a hugging kind of phase. And just remember, it's totally okay to teach. We sit on the potty when we need to pee. In fact, it's your job. The next idea is you might need a potty cozy. Like the woman I just mentioned described, she figured the potty seat might be too cold for her son, and that this was making him cling to her because he didn't want her to set him down on it. If you don't already have one, I suggest trying this as an easy fix. For a baby who just won't relax or is clingy, won't sit, won't be held, I do have a potty cozy that I sell on tinyundies.com. It's super soft, 100% cotton fleece. And you can also make your own from a t-shirt, and I'll link to that in the show notes. The next tip I have for Jeremy and others like him are to be more matter-of-fact about pottying. Talk less, sign language less, do it and just move on. It's kind of like changing your baby's clothes. Take charge even, with confidence. Have a diffuse awareness around pottying. In other words, without embellishment or hyperfocus or any sign of fear on your part, even if you're feeling it. Don't make potty time the focus of your day. You've got the tools, for example, my book, use them. And move on to back to what you were just doing quickly, which is way more fun than pottying, right? Next bit of advice is to spread out your potty opportunities more, offer them less. Your baby is now 9 months old, Jeremy. She no longer pees or poos at the frequency she did when she was a newborn. I'm sure you knew that, but I'm just making it very, very transparent and clear. If she suddenly does return to that frequency, that newborn frequency at some point, you might want to look into that. So you should consciously reduce the number of potty opportunities that you're offering throughout the day. Some of the separation anxiety could be stemming from her growing desire for independence and you at the same time. So laying off and reducing the number of opportunities would have a positive effect in this case. And then I want to mention she's not a newborn anymore. We don't want to react to a 9-month-old like we do a newborn in all aspects of parenting. We don't have to be the immediate responder all the time, always on high alert. While she's having her separation anxiety about pottying and you're getting creative on how to get her to sit or be held, remember that she's tougher than she used to be and she has a little bit more tolerance and patience too. You're okay. Do this with me and we can move on with confidence and reassurance at the level of a 9-month-old, not a newborn. And I also want to add to this a little bit about privacy. So when she doesn't want to be held over the sink and she gets up after we put her down in the potty and all that stuff. You could try a toilet seat reducer, and then because she's 9 months old and she can sit very well by now, you can leave the room, pretend like you forgot something and come back in, or you can turn your back and ignore her for a little while and see if that helps her to feel that privacy that she might be wanting right now that might come across as separation anxiety. Like, I really need you, but I really actually just need you to leave the room. And I don't know how to tell you that. So there's another little tidbit I wanted to tack on to the end. Thank you so much for your question, Jeremy. Head over, everybody listening, and let me know, what have others of you experienced with separation anxiety and EC, and what did you do about it? I'll see you over there. Till next time, happy pottying. I'm Andrea Olson, and you've been listening to the Go Diaper Free podcast at godiaperfree.com, and I'll see you next time. All right. I kind of impromptu added a whole new section to that one that I had already written. So you will see that over there on the written show notes if you'd like to read this one and get the ideas, and just go through one by one and try each one and see what works for you. But also comment below, what have you experienced with separation anxiety and EC? Down in the comments below, we answer everyone, and hit the bell and subscribe. I'll see you next time.